Good morning, America is a registered trademark of the Walt Disney Corporation, all rights reserved, and I probably shouldn't say that at 7 o'clock in the morning, even though my ratings are much higher than theirs. Hi, everybody. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz. It is Wednesday, the 29th day of July 2020. It feels like July. It was a hot one yesterday, 101. Our official high temperature at Pangmore Memorial Airport and other locations. Obviously, down here in the valley floor, you can probably bump a couple of degrees higher than that, but that's the official high from yesterday. And of course, we only got down to 75 degrees. When we started this show yesterday, it was 75 degrees at 7 in the morning, and when the show wrapped up at 8 o'clock, it was already 80 degrees. We're at 71 right now, but we're going to go right back up again, triple digits today, tomorrow. In fact, they've extended the excessive heat warning. They've extended it through Friday now. It was supposed to expire Thursday night. Now they say we're going to have one more day of this really, really hot stuff. And the heat index is going to make it feel even warmer. The heat index is it's the apparent temperature. It's a measurement of how hot it feels when you combine the actual temperature with the humidity. Going to be hot. No getting around it. We got a lot of weather to get to. When we get to weather, we got news to get to as well. Pretty busy day around the newsroom yesterday. Lots of sports. They've tweaked the high school schedule. Of course, as you know by now, they've decided to change things up. We reported on this a couple weeks ago when they made that decision, and now they've done some second guessing, and they're going to say, okay, we're going to do some of this and some of that. No really big changes, but enough to warrant our attention. We'll talk about that. Mariners, the Mariners lost again to the Angels. We got some highlights to show you there, plus everything else you're used to. We got an opinion from Mike Magnotti, the obscure holidays, some celebrity birthdays, and a fairly interesting today in history to get to. Let's start our tour. Let's go around the valley in north central Washington with our cameras. Sun got up at 5:36 this morning over the East Wenatchee bench. It'll set down behind the Wenatchee foothills at 8:38, 15 hours and 2 minutes of daylight. Of course, by the time this week is over, we'll be under that 15-hour mark as the days get shorter. A friendly reminder, Saturday is August. Saturday is August. Wow. My, the time just flies by. Good morning, Wenatchee. Good morning, East Wenatchee. Good morning, Sunny Slope, Badger Mountain, and Birch Mountain. Everything is just baked dry out there, and it's going to stay that way. We could even see a stray thunderstorm. It's a possibility maybe on Thursday. I hope not. They're kind of backing off on that. The computer models that try to predict thunderstorms and wind and that kind of stuff, they're just not in agreement with each other on the timing, or even if we're going to have any thunderstorms here in the valley. Other places could see some dry lightning, and that's not good because they say if we get any lightning, there'll be no rain associated with it. That's a bad combination. Where are we off to, Megan? It's Megan's choice, so I'm thinking that's looking Union Valley-ish. Cool. What was that just flew by? I wonder what that was. That was a bird that seems to be suspended in midair. I'm not sure. That was pretty cool. That was neat. Good morning to Union Valley. And again, perfect example of how baked dry the earth is around north central Washington. We are in a drought. We have been in a drought all year long. We had an exceptionally dry spring. I think last I checked, we were like 2.75 inches of rain behind where we should be. We could use some rain. We could use some cool weather. We don't need thunderstorms. Good morning, Lake Chelan. It looks all placid on this Wednesday morning. It won't be by the time it gets to the weekend. Our Union Valley camera. Good stuff there. Camera number 3. Oh, let's say hello to the Arundel Rock camera. Zoomed in there, too, I might add. Good stuff. Lake Antioch dominating our view, and that's kind of funny. It's the Columbia River, which used to be, of course, before the dams came, it flew fast and hard. The Columbia River has a significant elevation drop from its headwaters to the Pacific Ocean. Of course, now it's been dammed up and dammed up and dammed up and dammed up, and now the Columbia River is more like a series of reservoirs, and that's a perfect example of that because it looks more like a lake, even though it's a river. It looks just nice and calm. It looks inviting is what it does. Way off in the distance is Mission Ridge, and of course Turtle Rock is to your left. They call it Turtle Rock because, of course, it looks like a giant rock. And camera number 4. Let's pay a visit to Bill E. Goat, U.S. of A. And I'm seeing some haze out there. Of course, as you know, they got some fires up in the Okanagan County area, fires that they're going to be dealing with. They got the Anglin Fire, the Green Fire. They have the South Pine Fire near Tenasket. That's been put out. But I think that's why we see that kind of hazy, high cloud, smoky kind of thing way off in the distance. And I would have to guess that that is because of some of the wildfires that are burning in the Okanagan area. Gorgeous view of the Okanagan County area with Pateros and Brewster in your shot. And again, look how baked dry the earth is there. It just. Of course, they had a huge wildfire up in the Tenasket area a number of years ago, and the Pateros area especially a number of years ago. And things are just hot and dry. Hopefully, we can get through this period. There's going to be a cold front going to pay us a visit, going to cool us down just in time for the weekend. Cold is being totally relative. That means we won't be above 100 degrees, all things considered. Continued hot, continued really hot. Yeah, just for you, just take a look. See, Wenatchee is in light red. The Wenatchee Valley is in light red on that graphs that you see there. Moses Lake is in yellow. Moses Lake is going to get baked. Oh, my goodness. These are your forecast highs. And again, if you add in the heat index, it's going to feel even a little bit warmer than that. Everything is going to peak, it looks like, on Thursday. The upper level high is centered actually over northern Arizona. It's huge, and of course it's spinning around clockwise and feeding all that hot air up, and we have the high pressure ridge, so it's pretty amplified. It's just plain hot. We could get record highs or close to it on Thursday. Probably not today. Our record high for today is 105. We set that 6 years ago, back in 2014. We're not going to get to 105 today, but it's going to be plenty warm. But we could break a record on Thursday. It's a possibility. Slightly cooler, again, it's all relative, on Friday, and then the cold front comes in on Saturday and Sunday, and we can finally get away from the heat. And it's dangerous heat. It's very dangerous heat. If you're susceptible at all to the heat, and when it gets to this hot, everybody's susceptible to the heat, but some people are more susceptible than others. So again, if you're going to be outside, drink plenty of fluid, plenty of water, as much water as you can get into you. Try to stay out of the heat as much as you possibly can. If you have to be outside, find shade, take breaks, drink water, drink water, drink water. And I mentioned this before. It's unbelievable how hot your car can get in just a very short time. If you're parked somewhere and you don't have a carport or a garage, your car just gets unbelievably hot in the interior. So yeah, that's dangerous heat is not good heat. And again, it's going to be now for the rest of the week. And of course, we talked about thunderstorms. Best chance of a pop-up thunderstorm with some high clouds is going to be Thursday, tomorrow. But again, they're really kind of hedging their bets. They say we just can't get the computers to agree on what may happen. Certainly to the north of us, maybe up in the Okanagan, Omak area, maybe all the way up to Orville, they have a better chance of a stray thunderstorm threat later on this week. Of course, they're talking about dry lightning, almost no precipitation associated with any kind of lightning strikes. We're not going to get too windy in our area. They've kind of backed off on the wind, and that's good news there. They've also backed off on the chance of a thunderstorm here in the Wenatchee Valley, but other places in our viewing area could be susceptible to a pop-up thunderstorm. Again, best chance of that happening for us is going to be on Thursday, and Friday it's going to be much closer to Canada than us for those threats of a thunderstorm, but we can't rule it out, which is why we put it up there, okay? Now you know. Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives your home a hug. You don't need to hug your home. It's going to be just downright warm. Right around 104, yeah, it's possible. Again, you add in the heat index, the apparent temperature is what they call that. That's when you combine how hot it really is with how hot it really feels. They factor in the humidity on that. 104, wow. It's possible. Again, they were predicting 102 yesterday. We got to 101, although it is slightly cooler right now. It's at 71 degrees outside of our studios, but it's wherever you go, it's going to be hot. And that high yesterday of 101 happened at about 3:30 in the afternoon. It was 102 in Moses Lake, 101 Here in Wenatchee, 100 in Ephrata. Everybody got hot yesterday. It's going to be hot again today. As I mentioned before, Thursday is going to be the max out, and then just a little bit cooler on Friday. Again, it's all relative. The cold front really starts coming in Friday night, but there's no real winds associated with it at all. Friday night, we're going to get down to about 69 or so, and then cooler on Saturday with a high of 96, 95, 90, and 90 as the cool front comes in, but it's not really going to pack a bunch of wind when that cool front comes in. And again, it's all relative. I mean, it is cooler, but it's still going to be really hot until we get to Monday of next week. So there you go. Weather in a word, really, 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 really hot. That's 5 reallys and a hot. I just added it up. 11 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have your Wednesday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
Hi, my name is Blaine Johnson. I'm at Global Elite Motors. We're tied in with Global Car Care down here locally. So we're not your typical car buying experience. Somebody can come down here, take a look at what we have, and if we have the right vehicle for you, we'd be glad to help you out with it. A lot of times we are able to go out and find specific vehicles for somebody so that it fits their needs, their budget, and all the things that you want without you being obligated right away. If you're looking for a good, reliable car, come see me, Blaine Johnson, down at Global Elite Motors.
72 degrees at 12 minutes after the hour on this Wednesday. Triple digits today. Super hot. Thursday, a little bit cooler Friday. The cool down begins over the weekend, but it's going to be hot really until we get to Monday of next week. Here are your headlines. The Wenatchee Valley has now recorded its 12th and 13th deaths from the coronavirus. The Chelan-Douglas Health District says 2 Chelan County residents, one man in his 70s and one in his 80s, have passed away from COVID-19. Theirs are the first deaths attributed to the virus locally since mid-July. 26 patients were hospitalized in Wenatchee with the disease as of Monday, according to Confluence Health, including 6 in intensive care. At the Wenatchee Walmart Super Center, which closed for cleaning last week, after staff there tested positive for coronavirus, they have 2 more patients now have been revealed with COVID-19. The health district says that's a total of 23 Walmart employees so far. All of them have been sent to recover at home. Workers there criticized the store for not warning employees who might have been exposed after their co-workers tested positive. Now, the latest COVID-19 numbers, as reported by the Department of Health in our area, 960 confirmed cases in Chelan County, 681 cases in Douglas County, for a total of 1,641 confirmed cases in the 2-county area. And as we just mentioned, we've now had 13 deaths attributable to COVID-19. 2 more fires erupted in the Okanagan County area on Monday, leading to the evacuations and adding to, well, what's already been a pretty destructive fire season in Okanagan County. Here is the latest that we have from the Northwest Washington Interagency Management Team. We'll start out with the Anglin Fire, which started Monday afternoon, spread because of high temperatures, low relative humidity. It's approximately 1,000 acres in size. It's 8 miles east of Tanask. As far as damage and injuries at the Anglin Fire, 1 home has been damaged, 2 outbuildings have been destroyed. Crews have been working overnight. Also, aircraft has been working on the north end of the fire to help extinguish some hot spots. Now, the Green Fire also started Monday afternoon. That spread. It's about 800 acres. It's 20% contained the last we checked. It's burning in steep terrain. And yeah, they're dealing with rattlesnakes in that area, as you might imagine, with the Green Fire. There are still some homes and infrastructure at risk. The cause of that fire is under investigation. That's the Green Fire. There's also the Greenhouse Fire. By the way, there's still some level 3 evacuation orders in place for the Green Fire. Most evacuations are at the level 1 evacuation. By the way, the Okanagan County Fairgrounds and the Tonasket Rodeo Grounds are accepting pets and livestock. A lot of people have livestock in that general area. The South Pine Fire near Tonasket got going pretty good. It got up to about 250 acres before it was fully contained. We'll have more on those fires tonight at 5 o'clock. It's a boat owner's worst nightmare. Motorists on Blewett Pass were greeted with the unusual sight of a boat sitting in the southbound lanes of Highway 97. This is pretty close to the summit. This happened on Monday afternoon. The Washington State Patrol said the boat's owners failed to secure the boat to its trailer with tie downs and safety chains. You're supposed to do that. The result was that both lanes, unfortunately, were blocked. Extensive damage to the boat, as you might imagine, and a ticket for the owner for failing to secure a load. Wenatchee is home to an antique oil painting with a lot of history, and now the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center has pulled out all the stops to make the old artwork look like new again. Our very own Jefferson Robbins explores what it takes to bring a 126-year-old masterpiece back to life.
If at first you don't succeed in hanging a newly restored 300-pound painting in your community museum, you just have to try again, and again, and again.
Got it? How does the bottom feel? Good? Yeah.
Sunset and moonrise on the Great Chief has lived at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center since 1985. But after a professional restoration by Redmond artisan Bruce Miller, it's like a whole new painting. The oil landscape by artist James Everett Stewart had a long journey to this wall after its creation in 1894. It first appeared in the 1915 Panama Pacific Expo in San Francisco, representing a vision of the Columbia River near Maryhill. It spent time at the Washington State Historical Society in Tacoma, and first came to Wenatchee in 1954, where it hung in the lobby of the Cascadian Hotel for 14 years. After that, the owner gifted it to Wenatchee Valley College, which in turn transferred ownership to the museum. Over time, it accumulated a dark patina, and it stayed mostly out of sight in a museum conference room. But Miller's restoration cleared up the sooty residue, just as some wood refinishing revived the original gilded frame. The entire project took almost 7 months, paid for by about $18,000 in donations. Museum staff and volunteers put the restored painting in place Monday, giving it a new spotlight in the museum's main exhibit space. A virtual unveiling for museum members is soon to be scheduled. Not looking too bad for 126 years old. Jefferson Robbins, NCW Life.
Thank you, Jefferson, for that report. I can't wait to see it in person. I really can't wait to see it in person. Can't wait to see the museum open back up again. They've been good friends of ours, the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. The news with Grant Olson will come your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. And if you have a news tip for us, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com is our email address. You can pick up the phone and call us during regular business hours at the numbers that you see there, or the number that you see there anyway. You can go to our Facebook page and drop us a line via Facebook Messenger, or go to our website, our homepage, ncwlife.com. Bookmark it because we populate it on a regular basis, and at the top of that screen you'll notice the Contact Us icon. If you click on it, a form pops up. You can either submit a news tip or just drop us a note and say hi. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers. Going to take a break at 19 minutes after the hour. When we come back, sports, as I mentioned before, they've tweaked the upcoming high school sports schedule the WIAA has, and we'll talk about that when we come back in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
What's your Automocha emergency?
It's a Frapita mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
How do you know when it's time to go to Boswell's Furniture? When you know the look you love, the colors you want, but need a little design help to bring it all together. With Boswell's complimentary design service, Glenn, Buffy, and Teresa guide you until your vision becomes reality. More styles, more fabrics, and more choices of quality home furnishings fill Boswell's expansive 2-story showroom, so you can see it and feel it before you buy. Come into Boswell's and explore the endless possibilities of home furnishings. Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
We're back at 20 minutes after the hour. Let's talk about sports. So they soaked it for a week. They got a chance to get some feedback from various schools and school districts and athletic directors. And the WIAA Executive Board made a few tweaks to the upcoming high school sports calendar. And it looks something like that. Girls swimming and diving will move to season 3 of the upcoming school year. That means they'll start in March and end in May. Football practices will be moved up to begin February 17th. That allows enough time to prepare athletes for the season beginning March 1st. The board also voted to begin season 2 on December 28th. That's a week earlier than first suggested a week ago. In addition, there will be an out-of-season period from September 28th through November 30th where no coaching will be allowed for sports not in season 1. Now, since the seasons have been shortened by more than a quarter, the executive board also voted to allow schools to reduce their schedules by 70% per sport. Finally, competitive cheer will also be moved to season 3. You can find links to the new season calendar by going to our website, ncwlife.com. You'll see it right there. The Wenatchee Valley Super Oval has come out with the schedule of races coming up on Saturday, August 8th. And yeah, we will be there. It'll be sponsored by Les Schwab. And you got the Jerry's Auto Supply Pro Late Models. You got the Mountain Dew Junior Late Models, the Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder Cars, the Plum Perfect Road Runners, and the Bandoleros. Now, because of the governor's indefinite freeze on county's safe start phasing, of course, no fans will be allowed to attend. You can watch all the action, though, here on the NCW Live channel. We'll have it on our website and our Facebook stream. We'll start our coverage a week from Saturday at 6 o'clock. The Mariners are finding out in the early going of this abbreviated shortened season that opposing hitters are, well, ahead of their pitching staff. So far in 5 games, Seattle's pitchers have allowed an average of 7.8 runs on 9.4 hits and 1.6 home runs per game, and it happened again last night. The Angels pounded out 10 runs on 10 hits and walked away with a 10-2 victory. Tim Lopes provided some punch at the plate for the Mariners. He went 2 for 4 with a home run. Kyle Lewis and Dylan Moore also each went 2 for 4 at the plate. Justice Sheffield threw 39 pitches in a 2-run third inning. He took the loss. He allowed 4 runs, 4 hits, 2 strikeouts. He walked 4. Mariner manager Scott Service says the pitching staff, you can't afford to make mistakes against lineups like the Angels and the Astros.
A common theme for us here with our starters is, the running into that one inning where the pitch count's getting up there, and tonight was no different. The walks have certainly played a role in the big innings that we've given up. So I thought with Chef tonight, really hadn't seen him do that. I think all spring and early in summer camp, just kind of attacking, getting ahead in the count, and then putting people away quickly. Not so easy tonight for him. A lot of 3-ball counts, 3 or 4 walks. He was able to get through the third inning and trying to get him back out there so he could get out there for the 4th, and just wasn't able to get much going there either. So rough night there. I thought the guys that came out of the bullpen certainly made a few mistakes. You do that against this club, leaving some balls in the middle of the plate that they'll make you pay. There's certainly a lot of power in that lineup over there. So we got things to work on, no question about it. Offensively tonight again, I thought Kyle had a good night. Lopes, he continues to swing the bat really well. So but we had some chances to get back in it, just not quite enough, not enough big hits there when we got down 5-1 and had something going there, and needed more than just one run that inning to get back in it. But we'll come back at it tomorrow, and we'll give the ball to Dunny, and hopefully he can get a little bit deeper in the ball game.
Highlight of the game for the Mariners came in the bottom of the first inning. Mike Trout at the plate, running around first base. It's a web gem by Evan White.
Double play right here. There's a break. Nice job by Evan White, snagging that hard line drive off the bat of Mike Trout.
That will work. Trout typically hits the ball hard. He will use the entire field, but what a diving play by Evan White. Terrific play to get the double play. Full extension.
He's just so athletic, instinctive. that ball was smoked. You know, to be able to grab that, turn it into a double play, big play, just to kind of get the ball rolling for Chef. You know, get out of it. You know, get him going into the game. But and I thought, you know, Evan swung the bat well tonight again. Hit some balls pretty good. So our young guys, they're learning. They're learning a little bit every night. I think the one thing that we're learning is the value of the little things, protecting the baseball. You know, we don't catch a cutoff throw today. Just we don't catch a pickoff throw. Maybe had the guy picked off later in the game, which leads to more pitches. So the free bases, the extra 90 feet, it's a big deal at this level. It really affects the pitching and the pitch count as the game goes along.
Mariners are going to send Justin Dunn to the mound. This is his first start of the year. Remember, the Mariners are going with a 6-man starting rotation. He'll take on Andrew Heaney of the Angels. First pitch, 7:10. Taking a look at the Les Schwab American League West scoreboard from last night. The Dodgers scored 5 runs in the 5th inning, beat the Astros 5-2 in Houston. Things got a little testy. In the bottom of the 6th, a couple of pitches from Joe Kelly sailed over the head of a couple of Houston batters. They did a little jawing. They did some safe social distancing, shame on you stuff, and then everything settled down. Of course, the cheating scandal hangs over the Astros' heads, and one of the victims of that cheating scandal was the Dodgers in the 2017 World Series. There's some bad blood in those two teams. Sam Hilliard hit a 2-run home run. The Rockies plated 8 runs on 13 hits, knocked off Oakland 8-3. David Peralta's 2-run base hit highlighted a 3-run first inning. Arizona topped Texas 4-1. So Houston and Oakland remain on top of the division at 3-2. The Angels are a game back at 2-3. Texas a game and a half back at 1-3. Seattle in last place at 1-4. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll, always the eternal optimist. No matter what's happening around him, he's always looking for the positives and the next big thing he's excited about. He's having his positivity stretched to the limit, as you might imagine, because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Pete Carroll was the guest of Seth Meyer on Late Night Tuesday. He says he has no choice but to be positive.
I do think at a time like this and through all of these times that it is a tool that helps you. You know, it's a mentality. It's looking forward to something good's just about to happen, and that kind of thought process does help you. We're going to have to, you know, everybody is missing out on their normal ways, and we have to overcome that kind of you know, those challenges, and we have to do it with attitude. It's about your attitude. So for everybody, it's about our attitude, and so we're going to try to really champion the cause, being on it, being forward thinking and positive, support one another, and make the very best of this. And we're going to kick butt. It's really the only way I know how to go about it.
Yeah, kick butt, Pete. He's always had that mentality of competing, and that's no different whether the team is meeting in person or meeting virtually all over the country.
You'd be surprised how much we've dug in, you know, every day, day in and day out with our players. And you're not just trying to pass along information. You're trying to keep them fired up and having fun and staying engaged and all. So it's been a real process. We've taken an approach. Let's make it as fun as can be and try to create ways to, you know, keep the interest going. And we really had a really good run at it. So we're prepared, as we're going to be virtual here when we come to camp in a couple of days. And so we're prepared to do it.
Of course, Seahawks have been adding new players, tweaking the roster, trying to find the right mix of guys so they can compete, see if they can make it to the Super Bowl. A consistency about the team and its coach is that any newcomer to the Seahawks organization is always welcomed with open arms.
There's always seemingly a little bit of anticipation of, like, what am I getting into here? What is this? You know, I've heard this and that about it. And so we try to shock the heck out of them from the moment that they get to us about the way we like to interact, the way we like to build our relationships and count on one another. And, you know, this is such a difficult challenge to bring all these guys together to make a team and to go up against the extraordinary competition that we face, that it takes every single aspect of everything we got to be good. And I think when it really comes from your heart and guys are tuned in and they're connected and they learn to feel what it is to be a great teammate for one another, then you can do some great things. And that's the challenge we're up against every year. And if we're not having fun, I'm screwing it up. You know, so I always remember that we're playing football. And so I want to keep that in mind at all times and make it as good as we can for our game.
Of course, the Seahawks and the other 31 teams in the National Football League hoping for a complete regular season to begin in September. We'll have to wait and see. Rookies were supposed to report to training camp yesterday, and those were just some of the games that people are playing at the bottom of the hour. I had 3 3 obscure holidays to choose from. Today is National Lipstick Day. I don't wear any lipstick. I do in one picture, but we're not going to show that one. Well, I'm not wearing lipstick. It was done post-haste. No, Megan, you should not show the picture of me wearing lipstick. For one thing, I'm not wearing lipstick. Today is National Chicken Wing Day. She's giving me a bad time in my IFP. We're going to go National Lasagna Day, all right? Can you do that, Megan? Here you go. That looks good. I love lasagna. It's a quintessential dish. Do you know anybody who doesn't like lasagna? For one thing, there's hundreds of recipes you can make. Vegetarian lasagna, chicken lasagna, turkey lasagna, sausage lasagna, beef lasagna, it doesn't really matter. There was some believed, nobody really knows how the culinary experts have studied lasagna, and they say, we don't really know who invented lasagna. I don't know who did, but God bless them. The one thing they are all pretty much sure of, the key ingredient, of course, tomatoes and then tomato sauce, that didn't come to Europe and Italy until Chris Columbus came back and said, hey, I got some tomato sauce. That, of course, was in the 1400s, and it became an Italian staple, and down the road we go. There are countless different recipes for lasagna. I love lasagna. I hate making lasagna. It's terribly labor intensive, but once you're done with it and you make a nice big dish full of lasagna, a big casserole dish full of lasagna, it has a great shelf life. You can, eat a bunch. That's me with my lipstick. That was done in post-production. The nice thing about lasagna is that you can freeze it and eat it again and freeze it and eat it again, and you can eat lasagna for like a week, which I have done. National Lasagna Day. That just looks really good. You want to eat some right now. Lasagna for breakfast. Bring it on. I don't care. Today in history, the games of the 14th Olympiad began on this date in London, July 29th, 1948. Of course, they didn't have Olympics for 12 years because there was something going on. I can't remember what. It was the first Summer Olympics since Berlin in 1936. It was the American contingency marching into the stadium in London. The 1940 Summer Games were supposed to be held in Tokyo. They were too busy getting ready to go to war. Then it was moved to Helsinki, and that didn't work out. Of course, then London was supposed to host the 1944 Games. Turns out there was some big conflict going on, and they couldn't do it. For the games of the 14th Olympiad in 1948, there's the host country, Great Britain. Germany and Japan, the two losers of the war, they weren't invited, but Italy was. I don't know why. The Soviet Union was invited, but they said, nah, we're not ready yet. We'll come in 1952, and they did. There's the torch relay. This was the last Olympics, by the way. They had artists competing for medals, including painters and sculptors and architects and writers and musicians. These were Olympic events. They don't do that anymore. There was one major snafu at the Games, only one, which is just amazing. The United States won the 400-meter relay. They won by 18 feet, but it was all over. Oh, here come the doves. Here come the doves. Whoa! Whoa! Anyway, they won, and then the judge ruled, whoa, that's a lot of doves. Anyway, they won the 400-meter relay. The United States did. They always did. A judge ruled that one of the U.S. team members passed the baton outside of the passing zone, and so they were disqualified. Well, the Americans protested after the medals were handed out. They handed out the medals. They played the national anthem. And the next day, they looked at the films and they looked at the photos and they said, well, actually, the pass was legal. And the U.S., you actually did win the 400-meter relay. The hard part is they'd already given out the medals, so the British had to give up their gold medals and give them to the Americans, and they had to get their silver medals from the Italians, and the Italians had to get their bronze medals from the Hungarians, who didn't get any medals. Sorry, got to give the medals back. Games of the 14th Olympiad opened on the state 72 years ago today. July 29th, 1973, 47 years ago today, Led Zeppelin was playing their third and final show of their 33-date North American tour. They were playing Madison Square Garden in Midtown Manhattan. Somebody, during the show, broke into the safe at the Drake Hotel. That's where the group was staying. And they made off with the gate receipts from the concerts from the two previous evenings. Slightly over $200,000 was stolen, as were the group's passports, which were also in the safe at the Drake Hotel. Led Zeppelin's tour manager was questioned by authorities. He was eventually exonerated. The case has never been solved. That's a lot of money to lose, but Led Zeppelin had a lot of money. Finally, that's my invitation to Charles and Diana's wedding. I kept it after all these years. Yep, 39 years ago today, July 29th, 1981, a worldwide television audience of 700 million people watched the wedding of Charles, the Prince of Wales, and Lady Diana Spencer. There's Charles heading into I believe this was held at the courthouse in London. They had to have, big enough room to do that. I don't know why he wore a sword. You're not supposed to do that. Of course, the Lady Diana, she arrived in the horse-drawn carriage in a very expensive wedding dress. I don't know how much it cost, but it was more money than I had. By the way, the ceremony itself, the wedding, cost $48 million. So whenever you fathers are out there who are sweating over how to pay for your daughter's upcoming wedding, you gotta, $48 million is your is your goal right there. Look at the size of that 25-foot long train on that dress as they walk into the courthouse there to get married. Diana and Charles were the first royal couple to admit they didn't say the word obey. Yeah, that's me. I was a warrant officer way back then, even though I was only 16. Diana and Charles did not say the word obey during their wedding vows. And as history told us, they didn't. Well, they got married on this date 39 years ago today. $48 million. They got their money's worth because the wedding lasted 4 hours. What do you get them? You get that invitation. Hey, going to the royal wedding. A toaster, some china from Macy's. What do you get them for a wedding gift? Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. They had 27 wedding cakes. Finally, let's do some birthdays today. The first really great electric guitarist, his name was Charlie Christian. He played with Benny Goodman's orchestra in the late 30s and early 1940s. He was the first amplified electric guitarist to really make it big. He made the electric guitar a lead instrument and not an instrument buried with the rest of the orchestra. He was a brilliant guitarist, so brilliant, in fact, even though he was a jazz guitarist and he died of tuberculosis at the age of 25 in 1942, Charlie Christian was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990, the first really big electric guitarist. A lot of electric guitarists owe a lot to Charlie Christian, born in the state in 1916. We miss Peter Jennings. Of course, he was one of the big three back in the 80s and the 90s and into the early 2000s when the nightly news was still the nightly news and dominated the airwaves. You had Peter Jennings on ABC's World News Tonight. You had Dan Rather on CBS, Tom Brokaw on NBC. I was a Peter Jennings guy. I didn't miss World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. He anchored it from 1983 until his death of cancer at the age of 67 in 2005. He stayed on the air for 18 consecutive hours after the September 11th terrorist attacks, and after it was all said and done and he got to take his first break, the pressure got to him and he resumed his smoking habit. He had quit smoking years and years before, but he started smoking again. He got lung cancer and he died in 2005. We miss Peter Jennings, Canadian by birth, by the way, born in the state of 1938. Ken Burns is 67 years old today. First claim to fame was The Brooklyn Bridge, a great movie. And then he made The Statue of Liberty, which is an even better movie. And then, of course, the Civil War, baseball, jazz, the war, about World War II, the Roosevelts, the Vietnam War, country music. He's working on other films as well. The legendary Ken Burns, America's documentarian, if you were, is 67 years old today. Geddy Lee, considered by many perhaps the greatest bass guitarist of all time. He is the main songwriter for the group Rush. He sings, of course, he's their lead singer. He plays keyboards, a pretty talented guy. Rush, for a lot of people, is an acquired taste, but their musicianship is incredible. Geddy Lee, also 67 years old today. And as you know, I'm a big fan of Japanese sumo wrestling. Whenever it's on TV, I always stop and watch. And one of my all-time favorites, Okananumi Ayumi, celebrates his 35th birthday today. We wanted to wish Okananumi a happy 35th birthday today. One of my favorite Japanese sumo wrestlers. Got his poster on my wall at my house. 40 minutes after the hour, going to take a break. When we come back, Mike Mignotti's got an opinion. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
At Town Toyota, we believe in our community, and we're proud to support this broadcast of local sports. Town Toyota defines reliability and value in both its products and in the dealership itself. We are home to legendary products like the RAV4, Highlander, and Camry, not to mention Tundras and Tacoma trucks. Of course, we offer service for everything we sell and a great selection of pre-owned and certified vehicles as well. So enjoy the game and visit Town Toyota for all your automotive needs.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and adult care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Atención, su colaboración es muy importante para usted y su familia. El coronavirus o COVID-19 no va a desaparecer en el futuro inmediato. Con su colaboración podemos crear un plan de acción para abrir la economía otra vez de manera segura con la información de este estudio de 250 pruebas médicas. Su participación es muy importante para que todos en la comunidad estemos representados con la información crítica para abrir nuestro distrito comercial a todos, protegiéndonos del riesgo de un futuro cierre económico. Las pruebas son voluntarias y los resultados son gratis y completamente confidenciales. Busquen su buzón de correo en casa para obtener más información sobre cómo puede ayudarnos en comunidad a reabrir de manera segura. Estamos aquí para apoyarnos mutuamente. Gracias por su colaboración.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Rosie and I, we recently spent over $300 to see the musical West Side Story at the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle. That was fun. It was a great show. We enjoyed doing stuff like that once in a while. But are you aware of the incredible live theater that's available to us right here at a minuscule fraction of the cost right here in Wenatchee? Every year, local community theater groups out there, right here in our town, put on very high-quality productions. No joke. These productions are comparable to anything you're going to go see professionally over in Seattle. Now, I know many of you take advantage of these opportunities, but there are many more folks who aren't even aware of the live entertainment we are blessed to have right here. So, if you've never seen a live play or musical here in town, hey, I encourage you to give community theater a try. Trust me, you'll love it. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Badger Mountain Brewing is proud to announce the grand opening of our new kitchen. Come try out our new menu featuring fabulous steaks, prime rib, gourmet burgers, and seafood grilled up by experienced meat master, Chef Galen Goodman. To complement your mouth-watering meal, Badger Mountain Brewing features 14 in-house crafted beers, an alcohol-free root beer infused with 11 different herbs and spices, 3 different ciders, and a great wine selection. Don't miss out on the best meats and the best brews down at Badger Mountain Brewing,
located at 1 Orondo Avenue across the tracks from the Pybus Market.
The response that I saw from Works reminded me about what a great company this has always been.
While some businesses have probably just tried to hunker down and survive, Blair and the team at Works have said this is an opportunity to become even better, to give more value to our members. I think it's amazing.
Blair's attitude is safety first.
I just really appreciated feeling like I wasn't forgotten about.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I-dos to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
We are back, still sitting at 71 degrees outside of our studios. We'll be in the triple digits today, certainly on Thursday. Thursday is going to be the hottest of this very hot weather. Still hot on Friday. A little bit of a cool down, but not much over the weekend. We'll wrap up this show with another look at your weather forecast, but first another look at what's making news, and most of it's COVID related. The Wenatchee Valley now has recorded its 12th and 13th deaths from the coronavirus. The Chelan Douglas Health District says 2 Chelan County residents, one man in his 70s and one in his 80s, have passed away from COVID-19. Theirs are the first deaths attributed to the virus locally since mid-July. 26 patients were hospitalized in Wenatchee with the disease as of Monday. That's according to Confluence Health, including 6 in intensive care. At the Wenatchee Walmart Super Center, which was closed for cleaning last week after staff there tested positive for coronavirus, 2 more patients have emerged. The health district says that's a total of 23 Walmart employees, all of whom have been sent to recover at home. Workers there criticized the store for not warning employees who might have been exposed after their co-workers tested positive. The latest COVID-19 numbers, as reported by the Department of Health in our area, now has 960 confirmed cases in Chelan County and 681 cases in Douglas County, for a total of 1,641 confirmed cases so far in the 2-county area. 2 more major fires erupted in Okanagan County on Monday, leading to some evacuations. It's been a busy and somewhat destructive wildfire season. Here's the latest we have this morning from the Northeast Washington Interagency Team. The Anglin Fire, which started Monday afternoon and spread because of the high temperatures. They had some winds up there as well and low relative humidity. They got firefighters from the Washington State Department of Natural Resources, federal firefighters as well, working on the Anglin Fire. The Anglin Fire is about 1,000 acres. No containment numbers yet. Last we heard, it was 0% contained. It's burning 8 miles east of Tonasket, the Anglin Fire. The Green Fire also broke out Monday afternoon. It's about 800 acres in size. It's burning 12 miles northeast of Riverside. No structures have been lost. It's burning in fairly steep terrain, the Green Fire is, and believe it or not, hand crews on the ground are having to deal with rattlesnakes. No surprise there. There are still some homes and some outbuildings who are under some evacuation notices at the Green Fire and the Greenhouse Fire for that matter as well. They got 305 combined total personnel working the Green Fire and the Greenhouse Fire with some level 1 evacuations. The South Pine Fire was burning near Tonasket. That got to about 250 acres, but they got a lot of airdrops on it. It got to, and then it was totally contained. We'll have more on these fires, by the way, as you might imagine, at the news tonight at 5 o'clock. It's a boat owner's worst nightmare. As motorists on Blewett Pass were heading down the road, and holy cow, there's a pleasure boat right in the middle of the southbound lanes on Highway 97. This happened right near the summit of Blewett Pass on Monday afternoon. The Washington State Patrol said the boat's owners failed to secure the boat to its trailer with tie-downs and safety chains, and that resulted in lanes being blocked. Extensive damage, as you might imagine, to the boat itself. And yep, the owner of the boat got a ticket for failing to secure a loan. Wenatchee is home to an antique oil painting with a lot of history, and now the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center has pulled out all the stops to make the old artwork look like new again. Our very own Jefferson Robbins had a chance to go behind the scenes and explored what it's like to bring a 126-year-old painting back to life.
If at first you don't succeed in hanging a newly restored 300-pound painting in your community museum, you just have to try again, and again, and again.
Got it. How does the bottom one feel? Good?
Yeah. Sunset and moonrise on the Great Chief has lived at the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center since 1985. But after a professional restoration by Redmond artisan Bruce Miller, it's like a whole new painting. The oil landscape by artist James Everett Stewart had a long journey to this wall after its creation in 1894. It first appeared in the 1915 Panama Pacific Expo in San Francisco, representing a vision of the Columbia River near Maryhill. It spent time at the Washington State Historical Society in Tacoma, and first came to Wenatchee in 1954, where it hung in the lobby of the Cascadian Hotel for 14 years. After that, the owner gifted it to Wenatchee Valley College, which in turn transferred ownership to the museum. Over time, it accumulated a dark patina, and it stayed mostly out of sight in a museum conference room. But Miller's restoration cleared up the sooty residue, just as some wood refinishing revived the original gilded frame. The entire project took almost 7 months, paid for by about $18,000 in donations. Museum staff and volunteers put the restored painting in place Monday, giving it a new spotlight in the museum's main exhibit space. A virtual unveiling for museum members is soon to be scheduled. Not looking too bad for 126 years old. Jefferson Robbins, NCW Life.
Can't wait to see that in person. I for one, am getting tired of virtual everything, but we're going to hang in there and we'll get through this. I know we will. It's 53 minutes after the hour. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up with your weather forecast. Little teaser. It's going to be hot. Weather is coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snowblowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson, where we've got huge news. We've started our Blueberry U-Pick. It's a great time to toss the family in the car and get on out to Blueberry Hills, where you can get the best down-home scratch country cooking around and pick some of the world's most delicious and largest blueberries that have been high desert farmed. This makes for an intense blueberry flavor, and they are so much fun to pick. Our fields are open 8 to 2:30 daily and restaurant from 8 to 3, so come on out and join us.
What's it mean to be free? To go to work, to go to school, or even go to the park?
In historic proportions, we've had our freedom jeopardized.
Was it all necessary for so long?
As a business owner, I know what it's like to work with all different people with all different backgrounds.
I promise to work hard to find common ground. This is a time that we need a leader that's willing to serve the people rather than to be served.
I'm Joshua Freed, and I'm running for governor.
And we are back. Got about 5 minutes left. What do you want to do, Megan? You want to do some more tours around the valley? You want to jump right into the weather? Let's just jump right into the weather. Let's start out with those slides, the 3 slides. And yeah, hot. Look at the temperatures on Thursday. That's the hottest of the hot day. Now, for those of you who can't quite make out the key, Wenatchee is in light red on that graph there. Moses Lake is in yellow. For the record, we had 101 yesterday, but that's measured up at Pangmore Memorial Airport. That's where all of that stuff is. It measures the temperature, the wind speed, the humidity, the dew point, all of that stuff. All that equipment is up at Pangmore Memorial Airport. If you come down here to the floor of the valley, it certainly felt a little warmer than 101. And now when you factor in the heat index, that's a combination of how hot it is, the actual temperature, with the combination of the relative humidity. The heat index usually makes it feel 2 or 3 degrees even hotter than that. We will definitely be in the triple digits again today. It's going to be a hot one. Tomorrow is going to be really, really hot. We could get, if you factor in the heat index, we could get up to 107 or 108 on Thursday. Everybody's going to be close to triple digits or into the triple digits, and there's going to be no real escaping this. It's just going to be hot. What's going on is that upper level ridge is centered over northern Arizona. It's spinning around clockwise. It's taking all that hot air. It's feeding it right up here to the Pacific Northwest and the inland Northwest. And then when you combine that with the high pressure, and it just amplifies everything. And that's why it's going to be so darn hot. In fact, it's going to be dangerously hot. Common sense applies here. If you're going to be outside at all, drink lots of water. Lots and lots of water. Try and stay out of the heat during the hottest part of the day. That starts about 11 to 11:30 when the UV rays are at their strongest and goes to about 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon. When we hit 101 degrees yesterday, that happened at 3:30. Then we went down to about 99, and we stayed there for most of the rest of the night. The overnight low last night was 75 degrees. We could see overnight lows in the 80s on Thursday night. I mean, that's just plain hot. And again, if you know anybody who's susceptible to heat, and when it gets this hot, everybody's susceptible to the heat, but there are those folks who are more susceptible than others. You might want to check in on them, and don't forget your car can get really, really hot if it has to be parked outside in the middle of the day. Now, as far as thunderstorms, they're kind of hedging their bets here a little bit. The National Weather Service is. They got a bunch of computer models that are up and running and spinning around and spitting out information, but they can't seem to agree on thunderstorms. They say that certainly the best risk of thunderstorms is going to be Thursday. We don't want thunderstorms because if we get any lightning strikes, there's no precipitation associated with it. As it stands right now for the Wenatchee Valley, it looks like we're not going to have any thunderstorms. Now, to the north of us, up in the Omak, Okanagan, Orville areas, and maybe into the Methow Valley, up near Stehekin as well, you are at risk, a greater risk for a thunderstorm than us here in the Wenatchee Valley. And again, the best chance of that is on Thursday. It looks like we may dodge that bullet, but any lightning strike that starts a fire at this kind of heat, it could really, really take off. And there's one more somewhat good news I wanted to pass along to you. When the cold front begins to come into the area Friday night into Saturday, they're originally anticipating some fairly strong winds. Now they're backing off on that. They say it's just going to kind of, the high pressure ridge is going to glide away and the cold front's going to ease its way in. So when we say cold front, it's all relative because look at the temperatures as we do your forecast one more time from the National Weather Service. 104 today. Again, we had 101 yesterday. Whether we get to 104 or not, actual temperature, that's debatable, but if you factor in the heat index value, yeah, 104 is certainly there. 75 degrees for the overnight low tonight. Thursday looks to be really hot. Now, we're not going to break any records today. I don't think so. But Thursday we could. Thursday we could set a record high. Again, no real wind associated with all of this stifling heat. A little bit cooler on Friday, but the excessive heat warning remains in effect until Friday night. So they extended it for an extra 24 hours. A little bit of a cool down, all things being relative, on Saturday. Cold front really begins to make itself felt on Monday and Tuesday when we cool down to still above normal temperatures, but at least it's not stifling heat. And that's it for us. Everybody have a good and safe Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.